Hello, my name is Dr. Christopher Nagy, and I'm the Superintendent of Schools for the Burlington County Institute of Technology and Burlington County Special Services School District. Today's Leadership Spark is my 25th episode, and it's appropriate that the spark be entitled Milestones in Leadership. When I look back to the genesis of this Leadership Spark, it was an extraordinary conversation on DisruptED TV when, as a guest on the show 9 months ago on a segment entitled Providing Opportunities and Solutions, I referenced the book by Thomas Friedman, his latest book, entitled Thank You for Being Late. It's behind me currently right now. He pointed to 2007 as the inflection point in history that brought together the geopolitical, the technological, and the environmental factors together to create a new world order, disruption, and opportunity. The incredibly fast-paced world in which we live is accompanied by technology, of which its lightning speed has impacted the way we work, we live, play, and interact with others. If we're true to ourselves as leaders, at times we find ourselves on the hedonic treadmill, also behind us, and often fail to take the time to plan, process, and execute the future without comparing ourselves to others. We too find ourselves siding with our emotions when our brain cannot distinguish between fact and emotion, and we side with doom and gloom. As noted in the science of applied positive psychology, human beings are wired to prefer leaning toward a negativity bias rather than optimism, a glass half full, a state of being north of neutral and experiencing positivity, flow, and well-being. Now, in the midst of an age of acceleration, we're reminded of the importance to reflect, slow down, reimagine work, social lives, family time, and appreciate those mile markers and accomplishments and good energy and excitement surrounding the event. For some like John Gardner, he believes that excellence is doing the ordinary things extraordinarily well. Then there are those like former basketball coach John Wooden, who often would say that it's the little details that are vital. Little things make big things happen. And then there's Warren Buffett, who once said, "Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago." Yet some of the most impactful words I remember are those of my own mother when growing up as the oldest of 5 children and a product of divorced parents. Being driven early on as a child, I would frantically and frenetically race around at Mach 5 with 6 projects going on at the same time. My mother would say in response, "Chris, make sure you slow down and smell the coffee, smell the flowers, and enjoy a walk in the sun." Little did I realize that my mother's words would be the first inflection point on the creation of many professional milestones in my own life. I have found that there are no milestones without a journey. There is no journey without life experiences, failures, and successes. There are no failures or successes without effort, risk-taking, and daring to take a different or better pathway. And there are no leaders without milestones. Often I remind myself of the words of my Italian relatives in Italy. Piano piano, così lontano, they tell me. Translated slowly but surely, for the road is long. Leadership and milestones include both the tortoise and the hare, the fast pace and the understanding of when to speed up and slow down, and when to keep the eye on the goal and the road. I'm a big fan of Daniel Pink. In his book, Drive, he builds a case for the seismic shift from the old-fashioned carrot and stick approach to motivate individuals, which worked very successfully throughout the 20th century and early 21st century, to a new way of navigating and motivating people for today's challenges. In Drive, he reveals the 3 elements of true motivation, which are autonomy, or the desire to direct our own lives; mastery, the urge to getting better and better at something that matters to us; and purpose, the yearning to do what we do in the service of something larger than ourselves. Furthermore, Seth Godin states in one of his blogs on the topic of drivers is that perhaps the best drivers are unremarkable. Their actions are predictable. The drive is unexciting. They get from here to there with a minimum amount of fuss. A good driver fits in all the way. He notes further, it's entirely possible to drive your career this way, your day at work, and the interactions one has at home. The alternative, however, is to understand that the opposite of good driving at work isn't crashing. The opposite is leaping, connecting, and changing things. For me, this is where the work of creating milestones lie. We walk before we run, but take time to look back at how far and where we have gone. Some questions for today. How do you define a milestone, and what emotional connection is made with that event? What are some milestones in your own life? How have people been impacted as a result, or not? And why or why not? Last, as leaders, there's usually a significant event or person who has shaped one's view of leadership and who is the fuel behind your driven nature. What is that event or person or persons who has impacted you so much that you are the leader you are today?